Good morning, everybody, and happy Mothering Sunday to all of the mums, grandmas, carers, aunties, godmothers. Happy day, and we pray that you will have a different Mothering Day today. And I'm going to read Anne Smith's sermon that she's written, and it's based on John chapter 9, which I'm going to read in a minute. And it's titled, Jesus, Light of the World in a Global Coronavirus Pandemic. And one thing that is happening nationally across all the churches together in England, Scotland and Wales is that we can pray together as a nation, and we can also put a candle in our house. Obviously make sure that you monitor it if it's lit, and just to say that we are standing together, and the idea is that everybody can do that at 7 o'clock this evening. So our passage today is from John chapter 9, and I'm going to read the first few verses. So Jesus heals a man born blind. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," said Jesus, "but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Having said this, he spat on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. "Go," he told him, "wash in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbours and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Some claimed that he was. Others said, "No, he only looks like him." But he himself insisted, "I am the man." "How then were your eyes opened?" they demanded. He replied, "The man they call Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see." "Where is this man?" they asked him. "I don't know," he said. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There are currently some amusing jokes, cartoons and videos around at the moment, bringing some momentary relief to the bizarre situation we find ourselves in. Some of the best are being shared by the men's group at Christchurch, which David has kindly shown me. So, for the benefit of the ladies and those who may not have seen them, we've all seen white vans very dirty and splattered with mud on which someone has written with a finger in the grime, "Please clean me." We've also seen vans with a sign saying, "No cash, tools kept in this van overnight." In the new picture, written in the dirt of the white van, is the message, "No toilet rolls kept in this van over tonight." On a similar theme is video running to the background music of ABBA's Money, Money, Money. A man is standing at a cafe bar buying a takeaway coffee. He takes out his wallet and carefully counts out the payment to the bartender, who receives it very carefully, counts it out, holds it to the light and nods and smiles gratefully, accepting the correct payment. The notes, however, are sheets of toilet paper. In today's reading, we read about a blind beggar. He was born blind. The physically blind man is in a dark place, literally. He has never seen light, never colours, or the bright flowers, the beauty of creation, the blue of the Mediterranean Sea, the power of the waves, the splendour of the temple. He has never seen his loved ones, their faces, their body language, and the cues so key to good communication. He's in a dark place mentally, socially, and emotionally too. He's in a place of fear. What was that sudden noise? He can't turn to look. Who is that approaching, friend or foe? Will I trip? Will I fall over? His freedom is restricted. He is in reduced circumstances. He is in the humiliating situation of begging. He has no job, no identity, no name. The blind beggar. He is dependent on others. The future is uncertain. Perhaps in some ways we can identify with him. We can't see the immediate future. Events are changing fast. Life is uncertain. We can't plan. We too can easily be in a situation of fear. Our freedom is restricted too. As we self-isolate, or those around us do, our world is smaller, more restricted. Holidays are cancelled. Pubs, theatres, restaurants, cinema, schools, workplaces and churches are closed. Financially, what will happen? And in verse 1 of the reading, Jesus passes the blind beggar. Disciples ask him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" The first thing that we learn from this passage is sickness. Disability is not a punishment for sin. To the disciples and Jews at the time, that was the thinking. Categorically, Jesus said, this man's blindness is not the result of his or his parents' sin. Tragedy is not a sign of God's disfavour. To think that it is, to fall into the same trap as Job's friends did, convinced that Job must have deserved his problems, it is understandable to look for cause and effect, to try and make sense of a situation that we don't understand. We still hear, "Why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? It's not fair." The implication being that God is dishing out punishments willy-nilly. It is not what Jesus says, and when we hear it, we can rightly challenge that view. Interestingly, Jesus goes on to say in verse 3, "But this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in his life." This sounds odd, almost obscene. A whole life of suffering the man has experienced so God can make a point? Is God that cruel? We know he isn't. The same concept comes up again a few chapters on in John 11, when Lazarus dies and Jesus delays going to visit, saying in verse 15, "I'm glad I was not there, so that you may believe." The point is the same that God made to Job at the end of his suffering. God's purposes are a mystery. His ways are not our ways. Sometimes, such as now in Corona,